Hola, ¿qué tal? Buena tarde. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos a la tercera sesión del segundo día de Fevie. Esta es la quinta edición que lo hacemos y muchas gracias por acompañarnos. En esta ocasión tengo el gusto de tener a Lucca Mazetti de la empresa Nemesis y esta sesión hablaremos del control y estandarización a través de la verificación de peso, garantizando la precisión la precisión de las líneas de empaque por verificadoras de peso. So this time I will introduce you to Lucca Mazetti from Nemesis company from the Czech Weighers. So please, Lucca.
Hello to everyone. Good afternoon. It's Lucca Mazetti from Nemesis. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for joining. I am the sales manager of Nemesis since 2017. And today I would like to talk a little bit to you about who we are and what we do, with the special focus on the application concerning the automatic weight control and the metal detection in the pharmaceutical applications. Let me join my screen so I can share with you some presentation. First of all, just 1 minute, no more, about Nemesis. Who we are. Nemesis is a pretty historical company here in Italy. We were founded in 1976, so it's nearly 50 years of activity. And Nemesis always focused on the industrial automation with special importance on the automatic weighing. Our main focus is the dynamic weighing, so the end-line quality control focused on the control of the weight in dynamic lines, as well as we integrate our weight control with other end-line quality control solutions like metal detectors or even labeling. Today we will focus on the pharmaceutical application, which indeed is one of the main areas that we are used to work. In the automatic weight control, the food industry is maybe the most important one, but together with it, pharmaceutical is definitely on first stage. Today, I would like to talk with you a little bit about what we do and how we work for pharmaceutical. Just a quick introduction about the regulation. I mean, why we have to control the weight of the product? Well, first of all, we need to do that because the international regulation asks us for. The World Health Organization require all the pharmaceutical producer to keep a very precise and articulated series of procedures regarding the quality of their work and the quality of their manufacture. They are called Good Manufacturing Practice, or GMP, and they regulate basically how you have to work when you manufacture and when you produce and sell pharmaceutical product. Together with the pharmaceutical product, obviously, the regulation is affecting all the entire production process of these products. So machinery that you use to produce these kind of products are obviously required to respect a very strict and very important series of security processes, okay? And here is where our equipment entered the game. we can ensure the quality of the product by checking that the final packs normally are complete, okay? So more in depth, our quality inspection equipment can allow to perform many different controls. The main one in particular are, first of all, the control of the filling. So basically, if you have a jar that must contain 100 pills, the checkwager, by weighing the final jar, will ensure that effectively you have inside 100 pills and not 99 or 101. At the same time, you can consequently control the integrity of the entire pack, okay? So we can ensure that the packaging is not defective, and so no products are loose in the meanwhile of the manufacturing and packaging. Accordingly, even the traceability of the product is ensured thanks to the fact that the checkwager always record all the data of the batches, so you can always track back what is the history of a given batch of product, what is the features that it had, what are the statistical details, and all the information that this batch of product had during the manufacturing. Finally, as I was telling you before, we also integrate our solution with metal detectors, meaning that we can also provide the control of the metal contamination, meaning that we can check if the product are contaminated with some metal parts, and in that case, ensure that these contaminated items are not put in the market. All this discipline makes very, very important to have checkwagers and metal detector inside the production line, especially when you talk about pharmaceutical, because pharmaceutical are obviously high sensitive product for everyone. What we now can discuss is basically how can we work with this machinery? Well, first of all, let's talk a little bit why I should put a checkwager in the line. We tried to resume all the reasons and all the advantages that a checkwager can allow to your production in 10 points, okay? First of all, as I was telling you, the fulfillment and the complete compliance of all the legal requirement that will protect your brand and will keep you obviously secure against any kind of problem that should emerge after the sales of your product. The check of the missing component that give you the certainty to control 100% of your production, ensuring that no missing items are included in any pack. Again, the full traceability of the product. So this kind of machinery will record and keep stored all the history and all the information of the production batch that will be available for you on time to keep and consult when required. On the contrary, there is not only a matter of missing product, but there can also be a matter of excessive filling of the pack. If by one side, we never want to miss product inside the pack, because this means that the packaging is not compliant. So we claim that a given number of products are inside the pack, but then indeed some are missing. On the other hand, we don't even want to give too much product. Why? because obviously for the manufacturer, this means a waste of product and a waste of money. So indeed, the check waiver is not just a matter of security and weight and quality control, but it's also on the same time the possibility of money saving by avoiding the waste of product. Not only, check waivers are at the end of the production line, and as I was telling you, they control 100% of your production. This means that they act as a perfect and complete check of your line's efficiency, meaning that they can measure all the performances of your line. And you can use them to improve the performances of your line, thanks to the fact that check waivers can be linked with other machines in the line, and they can communicate and interact with other equipment in the line. First of all, the dosing machine. We developed software that basically communicate in real time with the dosing and filling machines in order to command an increase or a decrease of the filling in real time during the production based on the weight of the product as the check waiver is measuring it. So while you work in real time, while you control your product, at the same time, you can reduce the waste and reduce the number of non-compliant items, thanks to the fact that the check waiver will command to do this to the filling machine and the dosing machine. Also, the sorting of the product, obviously. This equipment can give you a quick and effective system for sorting the good product and the bad product, and to avoid that the non-compliant items are put on the market. So they basically are not put into the packaging, into the final packaging, secondary packaging of the product. They will be basically cut off the line and they will never reach your customer. So your customer will always be secure that only receive good product and compliant product. I already told you about the data recording of the batch history, but at the same time, we improved a very complete range of software that can enhance the possibility of exporting the data and elaborate this statistical data and all the information of your production in order to extract even statistical reports that can be very useful for you in order to control all your line and all your production overall. Finally, last but not least, to automatize the control means that you can save labor. Save labor meaning an inferior number of operators required in the line to perform the control, and at the same time, the possibility to avoid all the risks that are generally related to human error, because you will control 100% of your production automatically, and you will not even have the need for sampling control, which is just to control 1 out of 10, 1 out of 50, 1 out of 100 product, meaning that it's not a secure control, okay? In this case, you will control 100% of your production. We have a very complete range of solution for the check waivers, meaning that we can generally work for application between 1 gram and 60 kilogram. So we serve every industry with a very, very wide portfolio of solutions. For pharmaceutical industry, the range of machine that we obviously are focused on is called S-series and is a range that is specifically developed for lightweight and fast applications. We always work with tailor-made solution, and this is very important because we don't just have a catalog of fixed machinery, okay? But we develop every product as a custom unit, as a tailor-made project studied for every single customer, for every single application. This is one of the main strengths of Nemesis. We never, ever just pick out from a catalog your machine, but we design your machine exactly as to comply your own needs. All our machines, especially in this range, are also compliant with all the certification that this kind of machinery are subject, both under the quality of the weighing point of view, first of all, the OEML R51 discipline, but also the FDA 21 CFR Part 11, as well as we can provide IQ, OQ, PQ, software packages, and documents. Just to give you some ideas about the performances that we can reach, the pharmaceutical range of our Checkweiger can reach up to a resolution, so up to the possibility of visualizing and processing weight differences up to 0.01 grams, meaning a very, very, very high accuracy, which generally combines in similar lines with a very high speed. Our pharmaceutical lines can be designed to reach production output up to 600 pieces per minute, meaning the weight control of even 10 items per second, combined with a conveyor speed, so a line speed of the line, which is up to 120 meters per minute. Generally, these lines are obviously focused on lightweight, meaning that the most part of this product, the most part of this equipment is designed to control up to 600 grams product with a display resolution, as I was telling you before, of 0.01 gram and even a weighing accuracy of 500 grams. I mean, 0.005 grams. Everything is definitely GMP compliant, hygiene compliant. It's full stainless steel design and architecture. The IP protection ensures a very good possibility to wash and sanitize the machine up to even IP65. And all our range of solution is featuring our trademarked weighing technology, which is called EasyWeigh. Before to talk a little bit more about EasyWeigh, I would like to show you just a video of a simple example of what can be a pharmaceutical line. In this case, we are looking at a line which was designed for very, very small eye wash jars. We are talking about very lightweight items that in this case were running at 200 pieces per minute. A feeding screw, as you are seeing in this moment, did ensure the proper spacing of the product, then they were controlled and all the non-compliant items were discarded by an air blast ejector. Here you can see that in this case, in the black row, below, you can see how the machine can determine the weight of the product up to 0.01 gram. And no matter how much this kind of product were very difficult to handle because these are very small and unstable products, we can build customized solution like this one that are able to handle this product, to move this product, and to control them, okay? Now, as I was telling you, the main feature of all our Checkweiger range, and indeed the main and the most identifying feature of Nemesis as a Checkweiger manufacturer, is our weighing technology that is called EasyWeigh. EasyWeigh is our trademark algorithm for the weight control in the dynamic lines that brings on you a very important ensemble of advantages. First of all, this is very important in your daily use of the machine. All our Checkweigers never require learning procedure or calibration. This means that if you have a new product format, if you have a new product for controlling, okay, and you have to begin working with a new item that you never controlled before, you will not have to improve any of those time-spending procedures like testing, calibrating the machine, learning procedure in order to make the machine apprentice how this new product works. In our case, we focus, our weighing technology allows us to basically make our Checkweigers as plug and play. If you have a new product, you just have to create a new product PLU, which means to identify what is the speed that you have to run at. So how many products you want to control per minute? What are the minimum and maximum weight that the machine must consider as compliant? And then you are ready to work already. This is really important when you work with a lot of product format and when you have a lot of new items and new product that you have to control day after day. But not just this. EasyWeigh basically is a faster algorithm to weight. The most part of the existing Checkweiger on the market work with a kind of weighing technology that is called peak weight technology. EasyWeigh, on the contrary, just to keep it simple, is a faster algorithm. This means that our machine can process the weighing information faster. So this becomes so important when you consider that all the weighing is done in movement. The faster the line, the more pieces per minute you have to control. This means that you have the less time to do the control, okay? The faster you are, the faster you need to run, the less time you have for controlling each item, because the machine never stops, okay? And the control is always done dynamically. To have a faster weighing algorithm allows us to process the information and weigh with the top possible accuracy in a shorter period of time. And this becomes an advantage under every point of view, because this means that, for example, for a given number of pieces per minute, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 pieces per minute, the speed of our conveyor, the speed that is required for our conveyor is inferior. And this means that the machine can also be more compact. It can be more space saving, easier to integrate in the line, less electrical consumption. And another thing that is dramatic when you talk about a high-speed line is the one that you see here on the bottom left on the screen. As you know, the product during the dynamic weight control must be separated to each other. They need to be weighed one by one, obviously. Normally, it's not possible that you have two items together on the weighing belt, because this means to weigh them together. And so you cannot determine what is the weight of just one of them. Easy Weigh in the bottom line, in the bottom yellow line in the drawing here, give you a huge advantage in this. The weighing technology that we have is so fast that we need an inferior time for processing, sampling, and calculating the weight of every item. So, as far as we have need for an inferior time to weigh every product, then this means that we also have the need for an inferior spacing between the product. Why? Normally, the machine that you find on the market of this kind of equipment are working as the row on the top in the drawing here. So two products must never be on the weighing belt at the same time. And so the distance that you have to keep between two items, bottom, front, is bigger than the entire length of the weighing conveyor, because this is the only thing that makes it sure for you that no two items will be together on the weighing belt. Easy Weigh require less time to process, and so it's okay if for the final part of the transfer, another product is moving on to the weighing belt even before the first one exit at all. Why? Because we already finished the sampling of the weight. And this means that we can work, as you see in the row below, shorter spacing required. When it comes to high-speed lines, this is critical because it's always hard to reach the spacing between the product in the line. And the less need you have for spacing, the easier it will be to reach this condition. So the easier it will be to have a great accuracy control, the easier it will be to integrate the machine in the line. And also the machine will be more compact because you need an inferior number of spacing conveyor or other spacing devices. So the machine will be even more compact, if not even cheaper under the mere money point of view. And this is a huge advantage. As I was telling you before, we will always study our machine as tailor-made items. We always study every single project starting from the application details of the very specific line. We always study the product details and the product information. We study the needs of the line, the task of the control, which is obviously the main focus of why you need the machine and what is the control that you need to perform. And based on all this information, we will design the machine that is the most suitable for that specific line. We have a huge number of features that we can install on our machine, different number of belts, dimension of the belts, type of belts. We can install devices of any kind. For example, as we were seeing in the video before, for small products that come very close to each other, we can install feeding screws. Or as we can see here, for bottle product or anyway small based and tall product, we can install sustain device like this one, which is motorized support conveyors. This is a real line that is working on sprays. And as you can see here, for small based product, you must be secure that they don't fall in the transfer to and from the machine. And normally lines have very big conveyors. So the product, especially when they are small based, would risk to fall in the movement. And this is where we can install this kind of devices to sustain the product. Also, they allow something like this, so to keep the machine not in the middle of the line, but to install it side by side of the existing line. These kind of belts will keep out the product from the line, the machine will operate the control, and then the product will be moved back in the line. And therefore, you will not even have to cut your existing line, which means easiness of integration once more. Again, we work with a lot of pharmaceutical products. We worked with the pouches line, blister line, cardboard packs line, and also small jar lines as this one. They can be even complex line, like in this case. So a lot of small items fed, all attached to each other. And we need to handle the product, control them with a very high weighing accuracy to ensure that they are not falling in the transfer and in the handling. And we can do all of this thanks to the fact that we have a very strong experience in this industry and a lot of devices that allow us to work in this kind of application. When the products are not compliant, they will be discarded from the line, meaning that they will just put out of the machine and they will not move on in the line, in the production line. The ejectors, as well as all the other features of the machine, will be installed and chosen by Nemesis based on the product. So once we know the speed of the line, the shape of the product, the weight of the product, we will find out what is the most effective and ideal tool for ejecting the product. Here you can see an example of a line that was working with air blast ejector. So the product are blown off thanks to a blast of air compressed. And also in this case, the machine was integrated with a second control, which was a marking of the boxes and then a visual control that the marking was done good, and a second ejector was discarding the product that was not marked correctly. Even more, especially in the pharmaceutical lines, we need safety devices. We need to be 100% secure that no problems and no defect can occur in the production line. This is why we offer a huge number of security tools. Air pressure switch to always keep controlled the air pressure in order to avoid, for example, that there is no pressure enough for the ejector to work good. And this is generally combined with the security photocell for the confirmation of the reject. So photocell that control if a product was intended to be discarded, that it is actually discarded. Rejection bin to collect the discarded items, and the rejection bins must be, in many cases, even lockable. They can feature key locks, or they can even feature electrical lock based on the type of requirement that you may have. And the security photocell, once again, will alert once the rejection bin is full in order to make the operator know that they have to empty the box. Wind tunnel that can impede the operator to touch the line. They can isolate from air currents. And all these things. That becomes even more important when we talk about metal detector. Metal detector operate an additional and complementary control to the checkweiger. The checkweiger automatically control the weight of the product. Metal detector control if the product are not contaminated with metallic particles. In particular, the metal contamination that the metal detector can detect are all the metallic contamination belonging to the families of ferrous materials, non-ferrous materials like aluminum, for example, and stainless steel. Nemesis, as a manufacturer, do not work by building metal detector. We are manufacturer of checkweiger, not of metal detector. We are used to integrate CEA metal detector. CEA is an Italian company, one of the world leader company in this sector, and we are used to work with them since over 20 years. We developed a complete degree of integration between our checkweiger and CEA metal detector. This allows, for example, to control even the metal detector by the control panel, by the touch screen of the checkweiger, okay? So you have a total integration. This is not just two machines installed together. This is real integration. So even under a functional point of view, you can control the metal detector via the checkweiger HMI, via the checkweiger's touchscreen. In this case, generally, the metal detector is installed together with the checkweiger in a combined unit like this one, which is composed of a metal detector conveyor with the metal detector antenna installed and an ejector dedicated to the contaminated items. Why? Because the security laws makes it mandatory to keep the discarded products separated. By one side, the contaminated items, by the other side, the non-compliant weight items, so the overfilled and underfilled, because the reason why you discard these items are completely different. And therefore, the security regulation makes it mandatory for you to keep these kind of products separated. And even more, for all the contaminated items especially, you are, it's mandatory for you to keep collection bins featuring key-lockable doors, because you never have, the operator never had the possibility to take back the product and put them back into the line. Then only the not contaminated items will be controlled for the weight, and after this, as it is for a normal checkweiger, all the overweight and underweight items will be discarded by a second ejector and normally collected into a separated and dedicated bin. Once again, even in this case, all the machine will be designed based on the requirement of the line concerning the dimension of the conveyor, the number of the conveyor, the type of ejector installed, as well as the kind of collection tools for the product, as well as the security devices installed, the metrologic performances. So it will always be a tailor-made choice concerning the maximum scale capacity, the scale interval, which means the weighing accuracy of the machine, the speed that the machine can reach, both in terms of linear speed, meter per minute, and in terms of number of pieces per minute. Just for you to know, metal detectors are normally determined once again as a tailor-made choice, because we will choose between different type of version. There are different type of technologies in the CEA metal detector range, starting from multi-frequency metal detector, coming up to multi-spectrum metal detector that are able to work with more frequencies, with an entire range of frequencies, all at the same time. So if a multi-frequency metal detector is generally able to work with 3, 5, 10 frequencies, but only one at a time, so you have to choose which one to use in any given moment, the multi-spectrum metal detector gives you the possibility to examine based on an entire range, on an entire portfolio of frequencies all together. At the same time, the metal detector antenna will be dimensioned based on the product to be controlled, because the electromagnetic field that makes a metal detector work effectively require to be, for example, as close as possible to the product to be controlled. So it will be care of Nemesis and Gruppo Rush to always control the production and determine what is the best possible version of the metal detector to be installed under the point of view of the technology. What is the frequencies that we can set the metal detector to work, and what is the dimension of the aperture and the dimension of the antenna to be installed on that specific line to optimize the inspection performance and the sensitivity result of the metal detector. Even this choice will be determined based on the packaging of the product, because some kind of metal detector are also able to work with aluminum items. And so, as you see in this picture, for example, if you need to control, to examine illuminated blister of pills, we will be able to provide you a metal detector solution that is capable to inspect with an optimal accuracy and an optimal sensitivity even this kind of product, while on the other hand, we will prefer other version of metal detector if the product to be controlled will be plastic or cardboard packaging. Finally, and thanks for listening me all this time, this was just a quick overview of some of our pharmaceutical customers all over the world. We are working in all the continents, and we are present in over 50 countries all over the world, with a very huge number of pharmaceutical customers that install our machine in their line. And this was just to show you a little bit about our expertise in this industry, that for us is very important, because we strongly believe that experience is the best way to work good and to always be able to make our customers satisfied and basically always happy of our solution. Thank you again.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you for this very helpful explanation. Muchas gracias a todos y los invitamos a compartirnos sus dudas. También, si tienen alguna pregunta, algún comentario que nos quieran hacer, ya sea abriendo su micrófono o compartiéndolo en el chat. Siéntanse libres de poder hacerlo. Y también los invitamos a la última sesión de este día. Estará David Zapata, nuestro gerente técnico, con Rush Ingeniería, explorando los ciclos de calificación farmacéutica. Esto será a la 1:45 de la tarde. Y todavía nos quedarán un par de días más de Fevie en esta quinta edición. Igual no sé si alguien tenga alguna duda, alguna pregunta. Look, I guess was a very helpful and very clear explanation.
Okay.
And also, you mentioned that you don't offer only a, let's say, off-shelf solution. You base on tailor-made solutions.
Exactly.
But regarding this topic, which is the most common delivery time for this kind of solutions for the pharmaceutical industry?
Yeah, we are very proud of this because we are generally pretty fast in our deliveries. You can consider as an average lead time to market 7-8 weeks since we received the order of a machine. Okay, this is thanks to the fact that we have 100% of the assembly and testing of our machinery here in our warehouse, as well as we basically have always available in stock over 99% of all the components that we can ever use in our machines, meaning that even in hard times like these years where supply times are very, very long, as you know, for any kind of mechanicals and electronicals, we were able to keep out from these kind of problems and to always be fast reactive to the market.
Oh, that's a very interesting delivery time and also very helpful for also spare parts, right?
Definitely, 100% of the components are always available in stock. So it means that we are basically always capable to ship spares in 1-2 days, no more.
Perfect. Bueno, los invitamos nuevamente a compartirnos alguna pregunta, alguna duda o comentario si es que lo tienen. Y también los invitamos a compartirnos sus comentarios. Al final de la sesión van a ver una breve encuesta sobre este webinar. Y también, bueno, invitarlos los próximos 2 días. Tendremos otras sesiones con más compañeros. Aquí les estaremos dejando la liga en el chat de la reunión para que puedan ver el resto de la agenda de jueves y viernes. So, Lucca, thank you for this helpful explanation, and don't forget to join also for the next following meetings.
Definitely yes, and thank you very much for your time and for your attention.
Thank you. Igual, si tienen alguna duda, algún requerimiento, por favor, háganoslo saber. Con mucho gusto los estaremos atendiendo. Muchas gracias y saludos a todos.